Hi, this is episode 7, and in the last episode, I kind of left you on a cliffhanger of a story where I was being saluted by a young man on a military base as a brand new captain, sitting in a car. The whole thing was just surreal to me because you have to remember, I come from Southern California. I don't really know much about the military. Everything I really know about the military I learned in the previous 3 weeks, and I'm in an environment where a young man who doesn't need to but feels he must render a salute to me, and I return the salute, and he then feels free that he can now turn and move on down the road, walking wherever he's walking to, and I drove off. And I thought about that for a long time, and it was sort of amusing to me at first, in the sense that, you know, what is it? What does this rank thing mean really? And it took me a while to understand it, but I want to explain it to you because I think it's some of the things that are important as we interact with people in uniform, whether they are military or they are police, sheriffs, whatever. They're wearing a uniform. And every one of them has taken an oath to serve. And one of the things that you take an oath to do in the military is you give up your rights. Your Bill of Rights are given up in a sense. For example, freedom of speech. As a military member, you're not free to speak freely about anything. You are under orders to obey. And you have silenced yourself, especially on political opinions, because your chief officer is a civilian by the title of the President of the United States. And that individual could be of either party. It doesn't really matter. It is the chain of command. And as a military member on active duty, wearing a uniform, you cannot give your opinion about politics. Does that mean you can't go home and talk about it with your wife or friends? No, you can in a sense, but you can't protest. You can't carry signs. You can't join different organizations on one side or the other, because that's not your role. You gave all of that up in order to serve. And this is incredibly important to understand, that when people are active duty military, they are serving out, and in many ways you could say it's a sentence, they're serving out time, whatever, but they chose it. I chose it. I chose it at first for monetary reasons. I made a deal because I needed the money, and there wasn't anything about the military that was against my principles, but I had no opinions per se. I had no experience with them. I had no way of really understanding their culture. Now I'm in their culture, and I'm beginning to understand what's going on here. So military members are giving up their rights in order to serve a nation at a time when the nation needs to be defended. And that isn't always at wartime. That's also between wars. They're needing the expertise of military to make sure that we can defend ourselves. One of the lessons in history has been that we forget in peacetime what a horrific thing it is to be in wartime, and we're not prepared for it. And there is a level of deterrence in the fact that if the potential enemies see you as being prepared for the fight, the chances of them engaging you, at least directly, are reduced. That doesn't make them go away, however, and I think we're beginning to wake up to that even now, that there are ways that people, enemies of the nation, can infiltrate and actually destroy us from within as well as without. And again, the military member has sworn an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States, a document. And that document is the document that provides the citizens of the United States the freedoms that we enjoy as citizens. When I retired from the military, I rose in rank, actually, because the military within the United States system serves the civilian population. It's an incredible thing to think about. Let's go back to the salute a second. What does it mean when one person salutes another? The mistake is that one person is saluting somebody else because the one that they're saluting is better than they are. That's absolutely incorrect. And in fact, they're not even saluting the person, because if I were in uniform walking down a sidewalk and I see somebody of a higher rank than mine, I will render a salute. Why? Because I know them and I think they're great people? No. It is essentially the agreement within the military that the rank structure holds. And what I, as an individual, am saying in my salute is, I see you as having the power to order me into battle. Even if I die, you have that right, that power over me, because I render it to you. And then the return of the salute is the higher rank saying, I recognize that my obligation to you is to treat you fairly and to do everything I can to protect you in wartime. And I understand the seriousness of this exchange of our salutes. This all came about when people were raising their visors as knights when they had helmets on. They would lift the visor up to say, I'm of peace. You can see my face. And so the salute has kind of come out of that medieval time, and the salute goes with the lower rank raising the salute, saying, I see you, sir. And then the return is, I see you, soldier, and I recognize my responsibilities to you. That's profound. I think the other element of this that really gets me is, if you ever have an opportunity to go visit Washington, D.C., go to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and watch them change the guards and see that and understand that that is the embodiment of what the military's obligation is to society, and understand that those people who are doing that are not doing it for an audience, because it doesn't matter day or night. When the changing of the guards occurs, it occurs. And wherever you are in the world, even now, that's occurring. And what it means is, we are here to honor the dead and to recognize our responsibility to society. And this is how we do it. From a kid from Southern California to somebody who was in the military and interacted with people in the military, I can tell you these are wonderful people. Just as other people are wonderful people. They're people. And they have taken an oath to diminish their rights in order to protect others. And I think the same goes to the police and others. So anybody who is wanting to dismiss them, defund them, or whatever, I think is an insidious plan to weaken society, and I'm concerned. And so anyway, that's so far my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks.